So during the hype of GXK New Empire, obviously, you got a couple of reveals here and there. And then, of course, as always, just like everything else, you're going to have your fair share of bootlegs. And, listen, I don't need to really explain what a bootleg is. I'm pretty sure we all know what it is at this point, as collectors. But for the most part, I remember when I made my video on it, I believe it was like buyers beware or something like that. And for the most part, I made a couple of points as to why you have to be careful, when it comes to buying bootlegs and all that. And I feel like a lot of people kind of misinterpret the video a little bit. Not even, no. I mean, people were like, oh, who cares? Just let them buy it. And I'm gonna point out a couple of things here and there as to why I still stick with what I said in the video, even though it was like a while ago. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, as you guys know, yesterday I went with my friend. His name is also Josh. Hilarious, right? And we saw Captain America: Brave New World. It is being torn to shreds by a lot of people. So I'm like, uh-oh. And people are already kind of considering it a failure. Makes me kind of sad because I actually like the movie a lot, but it's always something for everyone, I guess, And as I was gone, I got home and my fantastic mother bought me a Godzilla figure, which I was a little surprised by that. And when she showed it to me, well, it looks really nice, but how do I say it? It's she bought it from the Goodwill, as you can tell. It was $1.99, so of course, definitely I understand why she would get it for me. It obviously, it's I mean, she already knew, she already kind of had a feeling. I already told you and everything, so she's not upset or anything. But it's obviously this is a bootleg figure. And I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because I'm just sort of fascinated by it, now that I actually have one in my hand because, this is the type of stuff that a lot of these like rip-offs, these companies do, as they'll put like an obsessive amount of paint to kind of make the figure look nice and kind of track your eyes a little bit. Because I looked at it and I was like, whoa, and don't get me wrong, it generally looks nice. Like, if I did not tell you that this was a bootleg, you probably would think that it's like a normal figure and you would instantly buy it. And what's funny is that this is supposed to be the movie Monster Series 2019 Godzilla. That's the funny thing. So it's like right away I already knew what it was. I mean, yeah, it's there's definitely some quality control issues here and there, but that's kind of the thing that you expect when it comes to buying bootlegs. And listen, I've definitely had my fair share of bootlegs in the past. My very, very first Godzilla figure was actually a bootleg, and it was the 2016 Shin Godzilla. And of course we didn't really know, and of course obviously the tail was a little broken, the paint was extremely sloppy, but the thing is, because it was my first figure, I didn't know. The one that I got after was the 1968 Godzilla, which of course, at least for the most part, I consider it my actual official first movie monster figure in the lineup. So just kind of talking about a little bit, I guess this kind of counts as a bit of a mini review. I'm not entirely too sure. Just kind of show you like the paint. I mean, for some odd reason on the camera it looks like a dark blue, but it's actually a pretty light blue. I mean, it definitely catches your eye for sure, but you could kind of tell a little bit of the nature as to what they were going for. There's some glitters here and there on the side, but it's mostly on this end. You don't really see it too much on the other one. But that's the type of consistency that you wouldn't really notice too much. Actually, I just noticed right now the teeth is extremely sloppy. It does not look good at all, but that is just so funny. I would have never thought in the longest that I would actually own another Godzilla bootleg, so I'm just amazed, and I just had to make a video about it. And of course it has the Goodwill sticker. I'm just gonna keep that on there. Just gonna keep it on there. And the tail, it's ow, wow, that thing hit my nose. You can see what the problem is with it. It kind of swings around a little bit, just a little bit. It's loose. But what's funny, I actually have the official version though, and as you can tell, I did not, I didn't took off the tag because I wanted to review this, and yes, in the future I definitely will. So you can definitely see how it's a much more cleaner figure, obviously, as you could tell, slightly more better, the quality, the printing and all that, you can see everything nice, and the tail actually does not move at all, so that kind of gives you an idea here and there as to what we're kind of dealing with. So we got like a versus type thing. I'm trying to get the tag out of the way without destroying it, just to kind of see it like that. That is so weird, by the way. I mean, that's why I did this video, because I'm just like a little bit amazed, you know. Of course I'm definitely gonna keep this for sure, you know. It's hilarious. It's, you know, they even got the leg raw. Like in here you can still see a little bit of I don't know if you could tell too well with my camera, but you can see there's a little bit of like that line that you see there, that circle, that's not supposed to be there. So that means when they put in the leg, it's like completely wrong, or like it's the wrong size. That you can tell they probably squished the hell out of this thing trying to attach the legs and all that. I mean, for all I know, maybe this was just kind of Goodwill, you know, maybe it was on top of something. I had no idea. I don't know. But it's so interesting, and I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they sell this on Amazon too, the bootleg version. I'm 100% sure I saw this somewhere. And I'm probably wondering, but Josh, why are you, why are you still on everyone's butt about it, right? Now let me explain. Now, I talked about in the video that something with these companies, especially with their paints, sometimes they like to use like toxic paints and all that. Something that's a little more, you know, it's not controlled basically. There's no, you know, they don't look at it, you know, they don't make sure, they don't really care about that. They just want to kind of pump the stuff out and then just kind of get it over with, you know. So some of these companies, they don't really care about that kind of stuff, you know, and obviously that could be pretty detrimental. You don't want to be touching that. That's all, you know, like toxic and all that. Same goes for like old necklaces and all that. A lot of people seem to not realize that some of that old stuff, like all the rust in the material, it's just generally not good. Unlike today, you know, where it's a little different, but you guys kind of get what I'm trying to say here. So my biggest fear is that you don't end up buying it and then you ended up kind of getting something from it years and years later. I mean, nobody wants to deal with that, you know. So that was my warning. And then the other problem that I had was that if you want to support these companies, if you like what they're doing, technically if you buy the rip-offs, that money's going to go to them. That money's not going to go to the company that you're supporting and all that. I mean, I guess that's not saying much, because I don't know, in one of my videos I saw somebody talking crap about the Monsterverse and all that, and they mentioned how they're all money grubby and stuff, and I'm like, well, that's not really on the studios. The studios, they give the okay to make these figures, but that's really about it. But after that, nah, Playmates, they make whatever kind of weird crap they want. Same goes for Bandai, obviously, but Bandai's a little bit more on the professional side. They don't do all this weird goofy stuff. They just want to jump straight to the point real quick and make these beautiful figures for you guys. So I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I own both the official and the bootleg. So I don't know, do you guys want to see a review of that? I just wanted to kind of make a video about it and talk a little bit, because it's just so funny. Such a great gift too. I mean, come on, for sure I'm keeping it. Like, are you kidding me? Still kind of funny. So far I haven't had any issues, you know, so maybe this is actually one of the good bootlegs. Who knows? I mean, even though I still don't support the idea of buying it, at the same time, it's just kind of one of those like things where you could kind of like let it slide, you know, a little bit, you know. I mean, it's at least it's not a bootleg NECA figure. That's a little worse, you know. I believe I talked about it on this channel. I think I did talk about how I got a bootleg Predator figure one time from, you know, from the first film. Yeah, no, that was a clusterfuck. No, that figure like fell apart, leg popped out, the blades broke, he had 2 left hands. No, that's the type of bootlegs you want to avoid. So, you know, I guess moral of the story, if you get one as a gift, that's fantastic, keep it, and you know, it's kind of cool. I kind of like it, but obviously, you know, be careful, like if you spend like, if you decide to spend like an excessive amount of money on it, because I know people normally do that, like buy them as gifts, because I see it all the time on Amazon. You know, dinosaur Godzilla gift, you know, you gotta watch out for that sometimes, you know. So it really does depend. I got lucky this time, but anybody else, not so much, you know. You never know, so you have to be a little bit careful and be very wary. Especially if you want to buy the bootlegs. Anyway, that's sort of my message there. So until then, that's about it for now. Of course, just you know, thank you guys as always watching. Like I said, not exactly sure like what we're gonna do next. Sort of kind of reeling in. I'm pretty much doing like how I usually do my stuff here on the channel. It's always some sort of weird random conversation. For starters, you know, like I know it's kind of been a while since I've really done anything like progressive. You know, I had a couple of toy hunts here and there, which I wasn't really able to kind of, you know, edit and all that, and they're pretty old too, so I don't know. I'm definitely thinking about maybe doing like some gaming in the meantime, so that's probably going to be the next step for the channel. So until then, that's about it. So thank you guys for watching, and see ya.